We will have much more occasion to look back at Daniel 7 when we get to the New Testament. Both the Gospels and the book of Revelation will lean heavily on Daniel 7 and further enlighten it. That's the way progressive revelation works. The later revelation brings more light and brings keys that unlock some of the cloudy and mysterious parts that came before. So I don't want to push and trying too hard to make more of Daniel 7 than what's clear just on the face level easy reading. But for right now, there's some things that we can definitely pick up on. Main one being the correspondence between Daniel 2 and Daniel 7, saying the same thing in two different ways. In Daniel 2, there was an image of a man, a statue with four different parts. It has a head, chest and arms, middle and thighs, and then legs and feet, made of four different materials: gold, silver, bronze, iron, and iron mixed with clay. Now, just reading verse 32, you might say, well, looks kind of like more like there's five parts. The legs of iron is one part on its own, and then the feet of iron and clay is another part. And that would make sense if we just read that by itself. But when Daniel gets down to the interpretation, we see that he links the legs of iron with the irony clay feet together. He says, there shall be a fourth kingdom, strong as iron, because iron breaks to pieces and shatters all things, and like iron that crushes, it shall break and crush these other kingdoms. And you saw the feet and toes, partly of potter's clay and partly of iron, because it, the fourth kingdom, shall be a divided kingdom, but some of the firmness of iron shall be in it, just as you saw iron mixed with the soft clay. Then he goes on, iron mixed with clay. So the kingdom, he's still talking about the fourth kingdom. So basically, the iron, the legs of iron, and the feet of iron mixed with clay are one kingdom that divides into pieces. So four parts, an image with four parts that represent four kingdoms. And then finally, a kingdom. There's a stone that comes out and becomes a great mountain and fills the whole earth. The interpretation is that there will be, after these four kingdoms, there shall be, in the days of those kings, the God of heaven will set up a kingdom that shall never be destroyed, nor shall the kingdom be left to another people. It shall break in pieces all these other kingdoms and bring them to an end. It shall stand forever. So there's four kingdoms, followed by that are temporary and that break and fall apart, followed by a forever kingdom that rises up over all of them. Likewise, in Daniel 7, the imagery is different. Instead of a statue with four parts, four body parts made of four materials, instead, again, the number four is central, but you have four great beasts, different descriptions, one like a lion, one like a bear, one like a leopard, and one like one that says is fierce and frightening with iron teeth. There's that iron again. And followed by appearance of the Ancient of Days and a Son of Man who takes the throne and has dominion in a kingdom that lasts forever. And so the interpretation of all of this is the same sort of thing. Once again, there's going to be four kings who shall arise out of the earth, but the saints of the Most High shall receive a kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, forever and ever. There's that reduplication of this really is forever. So in both cases, we have four kings or four kingdoms, followed by an eternal kingdom. So two things I want to take from the parallel between Daniel 2 and Daniel 7. One, the main point is the same. There's going to be four temporary kingdoms, followed by one permanent kingdom. And then second, the mechanism by which this message is conveyed to us is in two different ways, two different sets of images, and that's a valuable principle for how biblical, not just apocalyptic literature, but also a lot of biblical writings. We want to talk about this idea of rhyming ideas, say the same thing in two different ways. is that Bible will use two different images to teach you about the same thing, looking at it from two different angles. So we have two different sets of images that are teaching us the same lesson about these four kingdoms followed by one eternal kingdom.